Hello, good morning, everyone. To everyone who's here, please do not forget to check your names on the class attendance. Let me send you the link. So there you go. I already sent the link of the class attendance.
All right, so we have 28 minutes before the start of today's session, and we are requesting everybody to kindly check into their names for the attendance sheet. Regarding the session of yesterday, you can park in or put your queries or type into our chat box, and we will get back to you with your questions yesterday on our morning session. Thank you so much. And for the information of everybody, the materials and the resources that were used by our presenters and speakers yesterday are all in the classroom, so everybody could access it and see it for yourself in case that you missed something out during that talk or presentation.
Thank you for that, John. Additionally, I would like to remind everyone that you need to upload your lesson plan on this link. I'm sending the link of the lesson plan. Okay. Oh, there you go. Please do not forget to upload your lesson plan. So, to those who were not able to send their lesson plan or upload their lesson plan, we're giving you some time this morning to do it. To our Lao and Myanmar participants, if you need assistance to upload your lesson plan, let us know, please. For Brunei and Malaysia, great job. I was able to see those lesson plans being uploaded. Again, for the Lao and the Myanmar participants, if you need assistance to upload your lesson plan, let us know, please. I already sent the lesson plan link, and also for the attendance, please do check the boxes after your name. Thank you. To those who have follow-up questions regarding yesterday's talks, please do not hesitate to ask us or key in or type it in our chat box. We would like to remind all the participants to please not forget to check your attendance. So we've sent the link of the attendance sheet. Thank you. And again, to those who need assistance in uploading their lesson plans, please do not hesitate to ask our group or team.
All right. We would like to announce that on your screen right now, you can see this line QR code. I'm not sure if line application is available at your country, but um, line application can be downloaded for both for whatever device you are using. So if you are using your phone, you can download it. For an iOS, you can go to App Store, and if you are using an Android phone, you can go to Google Play or Google Store. And if you are using a laptop, you just simply search that over Google and then search for Line application, and you can download it to your laptop. This is the official line group for all the participants for you to have easy access of communication. So it's like a messenger on your Facebook or similar to other social media to which you can send messages, you can send files, and you can ask questions from there related to this SEP and SDG pilot research study. So please, if you do have a line application at your phones right now, scan the QR code and join the group so that all the participants and all the trainers and the SEMEO and the SEMEO SEPs organizers can also assist you in case you have questions outside and beyond this training. Thank you so much. This line application is also, this line group is also available. The QR code is also available in our Google Classroom. So in case you miss this chance of capturing this photo, you can go ahead and look it in our classroom under resource materials. YouTube link for what? I'm sorry about that. Maud Romashal, what YouTube link do you want? Oh, our videos today is available live stream at YouTube. So we will be posting the YouTube link later. For the recording, your Google Meet is now recorded as well. Let me go ahead and paste the YouTube link for the live streaming and Facebook for the live streaming as well. All right, so the YouTube link is now available for the live streaming. You can go ahead and click that one if you want to see your beautiful and handsome faces there. Also, for the last session, for yesterday's session, our YouTube links are also available in our Google Classroom. The videos there are already downloaded for you. So you can go ahead and check that out. You're welcome.
Again, to all those participants who need assistance, please do let us know. Our team is ready to help. Thank you.
Um, sorry, steps. The attendance link is already there. I reposted it, so kindly click on that link that I sent. You're welcome.
I think I still have.
Uh, for the lesson plan that we are going to upload to our Google Drive, those are the lesson plans that we are actually using already. There's no need for you to make a new one for you to upload because we will be making another for the SEP Reach lesson plan. So you're gonna have to upload the lesson plan that you previously used in your teaching learning process. So for all our participants, you don't need to worry whatever lesson plans that you will upload as of the moment. That is just a sample lesson plan that we're asking uh, from you for the subject that you are teaching right now. So if you do have the lesson plan that you previously used last week, maybe, or last Monday, or maybe last Tuesday, go ahead and upload that to our line group. And anyway, we will be making another lesson plan for the SIP rich integration or for integrating the SEP's concept to your lesson plan. Yes, Romashal, I already sent for the videos, I mean for the links of YouTube and um, Facebook. So let me resend again. I resend the YouTube link and Facebook link for that. Sorry. Okay, we are 2 minutes away from the start of our training. So I hope that um, every concern that you wanted us to address has been addressed. And if you do have one, do not hesitate to type in your concern on our chat box, especially if you do have questions related to the presentations or the topics that we have had yesterday. Yeah, anything, navigation to the tools, whatever you think is confusing you, or yeah, exact financial problem. we we can give you the assistance or related to all of these things at the moment, except for financial assistance. So if you do have questions about our tools, our classroom, the technology that we're using, and the one that the presentations or the things that has been discussed yesterday, do not hesitate to ask us. Thank you so much.
A pleasant morning, everyone. We're glad to see your presence in the second day of our workshop. So, as we can see on our screen, our Myanmar participants are still not ticking in or checking in their names. Hi to our Myanmar participants. Do you need assistance for us to check your attendance? Do not hesitate to tell us, please.
Good morning, everybody. So on your screen right now, you could see the class attendance link. There are also teachers, participants coming from Lao, which are not here right now and are not able to take in. So if you do have trouble taking in, let us know so that we can assist you with the attendance. We will give you 5 minutes for the attendance so that we can go through with the start of our session. Our first activity today will start at 9:10. So right after the photo session, we will proceed with the first activity. And then after that, we will go to session proper, which will be delivered to us by our experts coming from Simeo SEPs, and they will be doing the identification of values and mindset. Right after that, it will be followed by the presentation on how to demonstrate step elements to be applied in teaching and learning. So from here, you will know how will you integrate SAP in your teaching and learning process. And this will be delivered by Dr. Priyanut. So our schedule for today's orientation for today's day is available on your screen right now. So I'm sharing the screen. You could see the schedule running through for today's workshop. This schedule is also available in our Google Classroom so that you will be guided. So you can go and check the link, and the link is also posted in our chat box so that you can access that for yourself. Thank you so much. Again, we would like to request our participants that during our session, in case that you do have questions, you are allowed to chat in, utilize the chat box, and please turn off your microphone at all times. If you wish to ask question, you can click on the hand icon so that you will be acknowledged, and we will give you time for the Q&A right after the presentation for your questions and queries. Okay, so we would like to request our participants to please open your camera before we go to our first activity. Just to warm up a little bit, let's have our photo session. So everybody, please open your camera and let's have our photo session. Again, by the way, we're live on Facebook and YouTube, and the links for those two social media are available on our Google chat room. All right, so our photo session will start now. So for the first one, we will have our big heart pose, and then the second one will be a cute face pose. It's up to you. How do you portray your cute face? Maybe you can do like this, or you can do like this. And then the third one is up to you. All right, so let's have on my count in three, two, one, big heart pose. The second one, three, two, one. And the last but not the least is your own pose. So in three, two, one. All right, thank you so much. And I'm requesting my team to show your photos on our screen. Let's see who is the most and the photogenic for today's session. I would request my team to please share the screen for our photo session today. So let's see, I'm so excited. Your photos, the photos for yesterday were all uploaded in our classroom. I mean, in Facebook. So you can go ahead and grab all the photos you think you need for yourself. So there you go. Oh my God, you're so cute in there. A lot of nice photos. So let's see who is the most photogenic, and maybe we could give a reward to that. Okay, thank you, team, for sharing these photos. We will just edit these photos and we will definitely show it to you later. Okay, the next part of our program is related to assessing your prior knowledge on what core values that ignite your spirit and bring your whole self to life. So this pertains to your habit, your mindset, because if you could remember yesterday during the presentation of our director of Simeo SEP's Center, she said and emphasized that SEPs is a mindset. So from there, one question there is, what is your mindset? What are the elements form a habit? How will you teach a value? That is a very important question, especially that we are teachers. We should know how to make values be integrated and shown to our students. So it's a very easy question, but really difficult to answer. So how do we teach values to our students? And that is the very essence why we need to know how SEPs play an important role in creating that lesson plan that we are talking about. So from there, we will have an idea how to form a value and what is value to you and what are those mindsets. So on our chat box right now, you have there the link for you to be able to access our activity. So we will give you 15 minutes to write down your answers related to the questions that I've posted. Um, for you to be guided for the questions, it's on the chat box as well. So we will be showing to you the screen of the poll EV. So right now and right then, we will give you time, 15 minutes, to go and form the values that you are actually able to create. So if you could see on your screen right now, this is a poll everywhere. That means if you are typing whatever your values that you have in yourself and the values that you actually try to make your students emulate from you is on the screen. So we have their criteria like achievement, freedom. Do you value your family? Do you value friendship? Kindness, love, loyalty, wealth, wisdom, or success. So let's see among these values mentioned, let's see if which of these do you value the most. And the very good question is there is how could it be taught? So later on, after your answers, we will be asking you questions on maybe we could ask our participants to share something about this, about your answers. Oh, sorry, the poll is full. You might need to refresh the the screen or your internet because poll everywhere. Sometimes if the internet there's a fluctuation on the internet, that sometimes happens. So let me resend the link for the poll everywhere because I also tried it many times last time and it shows me the first time I tried it, it says the poll is full. So we're trying to look into it right now and let's see. All right, there you go. So let's go to the discussion of the result. As we could see on the graph at the moment, it shows there. Oh, you can still answer. I think activity is full. All right, let's go to the graph. Can you show the graph for me? All right. So based on our participants who were able to answer all the questions, I mean, the questions that were asked for you, what core values ignite your spirit and bring your whole self to life? So it shows there the letter F, which is the green colored 24. Sorry, the biggest is letter C, family. It's 40%, followed by love, which is 24%, and the least is belonging to achievement and freedom. I'm wondering why wisdom is not there. So, any idea coming from our participants related to the answer? Who answered family first and then the others? Anyone would like to say something about your answer a while ago? Let's hear an answer coming from our Brunei participants.
Any participant from Brunei who would like to answer what core values ignite your spirit and bring your whole self to life?
Um, Hello, good morning.
Oh
Hi,
yes, hello, good
hello, Miss
morning.
Didi. Go ahead.
Okay. Actually, we haven't like get the pool yet, but then like we're planning to choose like a family for this pool because we think that uh this kind of value is very significant, especially in Brunei culture. So like family is like part of your like everyday's life. So to include this in your lesson, I think it can be through like a teamwork and then share their their experience and how they're doing their project and all that thing. So that's why I think like most of the participant here, since we are like Asian country, we're more into like a family values. So that's what we think. Yeah, thank
I,
you.
Thank you, Miss Didi. I totally agree with that. Sometimes I also tell my students that whatever values you're showing outside, it's actually being reflected from what you are getting from your home. So we always say that family is home. So we always start our value formation from our families. All right. Thank you so much, Mom City, for giving us that brilliant idea. Any other ideas for from our participants to share? Maybe another school from Brunei. Someone answered. There are others who answered like friendship, love. So maybe you could share us why did you answer such? Anyone would like to share their thoughts about it? How about our participants from Malaysia? It was really surprising. Oh, go ahead, sir. So this kind of activity is very useful for you to be able to know and assess your students as to what values your students are really valuing the most. So from there, you will get the idea what are the things that you will or activities that you will be doing inside the classroom as part of the value formation for the students. Say, for example, just like what Miss City had said a while ago that in order for us to be able to teach the value of family, maybe you could design an activity or a work that goes to collaboration or teamwork within students. So maybe not only in science lessons, but all across the learning subjects that we are teaching, you can integrate teamwork that will value family and cooperation within our students. That is one way of integrating SEP inside your lesson. So you will see there the value of how they care for each other and how they make sure that no one in their group will be left behind. So that is related to the attitude and the values that you could form to your students. How about
Don, I would like to add,
go ahead, John.
uh, talking about integrating SEPs in your classroom. Uh, as a teacher, you understand the knowledge, right? You understand the skill that you're going to teach your student. But SEPs providing the attitude and the values toward your students. So it's good to understand what values your student think is important to their life, right? And then from then you can connect with your student, and then you can monitor the attitude and values that they place in their life and see how that might have changed after they understand SEP concept and uh, SDG, like living in more sustainable uh, world, or try to practice a sustainable way of life, for example. Okay, so this the way we showing you here is example of how you can use this kind of tools to lead in your classroom. So hopefully, with your student, you can relate to whatever they answer, and then use that as a springboard when you discuss about the values. Uh, it's interesting that the people that answer the question right now put value into family friendship.
Ignite my spirit and bring my whole self to life, I would definitely include kindness. Everybody can be right, but we always need to choose kindness. That is one of the core values that I always impart to my students in the classroom, especially during the first day of school. So when I am giving them the classroom rules, kindness and no bullying are those two important things that I impart them. So we would like to get answers from our participants regarding the question. Any answers from our Malaysian participants? Yes. How about Lao and Myanmar? We are so eager to hear your answers for this.
All right. So with that, I hope that this kind of activity gives you the idea on how to assess what are those things that our students are actually preferring in terms of developing their values. I know that for us here, because we are adults in a way, we have different way of looking life in our own perspective. It might be different to our students. If I'm not mistaken, our students might choose wisdom. So put the right teaching learning process and outcome to our lessons. So here, another activity is what values do you teach directly or indirectly to your students? Let's try to see from our teachers by going to the second link that we posted. Let's try to see what value is the highest that we always teach our students. It doesn't necessarily mean the one that we mentioned on the first activity. Maybe you have other values you can type right in there. One word is okay. So for that, we're giving you 5 minutes
Okay, so we posted a link for youth.
or two to
Okay. Um, we already posted a link for the poll, so you can click on it and answer the question, what values do you teach to your students directly or indirectly? So we're giving you some few minutes to respond on this question. Please let us know if you have any problems with the link, or you want us to assist you.
okay. So we all said be kind to each other. So I think it's respect or kindness. can also scan the QR code showing on your screen. If you are using a phone, go ahead and scan the QR code found on your screen. From there, you can put your answer directly to the poll everywhere question. All right, well, giving you 1 minute, and from there, we will have a short discussion on this question, and we will be moving on to the first topic under our session proper, which will last around 2 hours and 35 minutes. So, again, we are giving you last minute to have your answers be posted on our poll everywhere questionnaire.
I definitely agree with you, Swe, Miss Swe, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, kindness and respect. We should always respect each other, especially that all of us have different differences, right? So as I see the world, this is on my own opinion. This is my opinion. As I see the world, we have differences, right? So in order for us to be united and not be chaotic, we should know how to respect each other. And that is one of the core values that we really need to teach our students. Especially our students are, from different um, families and also from different backgrounds. So, anyone, any participants from different countries who would like to share us an answer to this question? What values do you teach to your students and why? We would like to know the reason why. Anyone from Brunei?
So for you to be guided on the question, there are questions posted on our chat box. Does teaching and learning these values help form a mindset? Or does this mindset help from a good habit or action? What is formed first, mindset or values? And which stays with an individual for life, mindset, values, or attitude? So these are guide questions for our teachers to be able to formulate and make your objectives be aligned on promoting and teaching values to our students, because we teachers always tend to teach, focus on knowledge and building the skills, but we always somehow forget to integrate the values, and somehow we forget that values is part of our teaching and learning process. So from there, those are the guide questions. Maybe someone from our Brunei participant would like to say something.
Hello, Assalamualaikum. Good morning, everyone. So, Chigur Shahira from Sekolah Menengah Perdana Wazir. So, from the screen, as you can see, I believe, and that me and my colleagues do believe that all the values mentioned here are directly or indirectly being teach at schools, because as we know, when we teach, it's not only focusing on for examinations or like what you do in schools, but we want our students to be able to, be a better person when they're outside schools as well. For example, I would like to take punctuality here. Um, in terms of submitting their assignment, in terms of coming to school. So yeah, this kind of values can also benefit them outside schools.
Thank you
Thank
so much, ma'am. Thank you for giving us that idea. All right. So from there, I hope that these questions and these activities that we posted as a warm-up activity will help you know what your students' values are and what are the things that they will prioritize. All right. So we're now going to the next part of our program, which is on the session proper. And from there, we will be. Oh, okay, Jaslyn, you want to say something? All right, so I think it's just a miss fast fingers. At this point in time, we will now be moving on to the next session, which is, or the next part in which it is aligned to our values, the one that we had posted. So it is on identifying similar values and mindsets that relate to SEP, and this will last for around 30 minutes. Without much ado, I would like to welcome you all to our first speaker and presenter for today, none other than our expert from Simeo SEP Center. We have our program officer, Miss Abigail Lanceta and Elizabeth Soul. Let's give them a round of applause, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
Yes, hello, Abby.
Yeah, good. So Libby is here and Abigail is here using another name because my computer is with my colleague who is assisting us on the technical side. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to day two. I can say that day two might be the most important or a more important day of the 3-day workshop. So we'd like to just put in context the pre-testing that we just had and connect hopefully nicely to this pre-session and to the major interactive session by our invited SEP in education expert. So could we hear some applause from everyone in the audience, please? We'd like to see your applause. I don't see any clapping hands. Would you like to do that now? Just to see whether you are with us. Send your love. Yes, thank you. Great, thank you. Now, Libby and I will just run a quick session, again, trying to connect from the previous pre-testing into the main session. And from our end, my colleague here, Oy, Paparwarin, will share our screen. And we'd like to ask all teachers this question. How are you feeling today? Please give us one answer or one word to this question. My colleague Oy is trying to share the link in the chat box, and you can respond similar to what John and Tim did just now. In case you cannot access the link, please type your answer in the chat box. Answer the question, how are you feeling today? Guess what? All of a sudden, it rained in Bangkok this morning. So how do I feel? I feel good because it's been humid for the last many days and all of a sudden there's rain. So for me, I feel good. Cerilyn feels excited. All right, teachers, you have 1 minute. Please type in, how do you feel today? Happy, happy, hungry. Somebody's hungry in the chat box. Hungry too. Somebody said blessed. Oh, I know why you're hungry. You shouldn't be hungry because this is the fasting time. Somebody says sleepy. Another one sleepy because I'm fasting. Yeah, understandable, but that is something good for us. We need to see all your responses in one word. Just type in, how are you feeling today? John feeling superb. Somebody says spectacular. On Marmian said relaxed. Oh dear, somebody said we had to wake up early at 3 a.m. I know, because it's the fasting season. Somebody said tired. I hope you can find some rest in the session, but not sleep. Okay, so we see the result Good job, Oy. My colleague, happy, superb, pretty. That's nice. Alhamdulillah. Thank you. Good. Overworked, sleepy. Nice. And some are coming in, but I'm sure you can always write your responses on the chat box if you cannot access the link. We see that your feeling is a mix of good and not so good, but that's okay. And to us, that is what is life. Now let's move to the next question. And for the next question, I'll get Libby to continue, please.
I just test my mic is working. Can you hear me?
Libby, the audio is slightly low.
Hi, can you hear me now?
Yes, Libby, loud and clear.
Okay. Okay. So we're sorry about that delay. My own mic's not working. So the big question for number one, what is most to you? In this set, anyway, we're asking you to choose from 5 possibilities: mindset, values, habit, action, or attitude. You can only choose one. So which is the most important? There can only be one most important. So as before, you can fill in the poll. Am I right? You can fill in the poll or type your message in the chat box. I'll give you 2 minutes to do that. What's happening? Oh, you've just given them. The link's just been posted for you. We're not getting anything. Is everybody there? So which one are you going to choose out of all of those? Mindset, values, habit, action, or attitude? I can see a lot of you come in. Oh gosh, a lot have come in already with quite a few answers here. And quite a mixed set. Let me go back to have a look at this. Okay. Now, a lot of you are choosing mindset. Is that because of what we're leading into in the next session, I wonder? Let me just check again. Oh, here we go. So mindset is definitely, just been overtaken by attitude. All right. Can I just then, before we move on, I would like to just have a chat with some of you about this. Is there anybody from Brunei who would like to comment on why you think most people would choose attitude? One of the teachers from Brunei. Can you pass my... Mr. Farazim, Mr. Farazim, you actually didn't choose attitude, but can you understand why people might? I don't think they're hearing.
Any participants who would like to answer the question of Miss Libby? Any participant from Brunei, Malaysia? How about Laos and Myanmar?
Could I just ask for perhaps Ajahn Reza from Brunei, who chose attitude? Why is that important? Oh, we have.
Hello.
Go ahead, Shrey. Oh.
Attitude, action, and habits are following myself. So myself is good. So action and habit, attitude are also good. Thank you.
Thank you, Shrey. Oh, that's great for your response and participating today. So could we also have a look at somebody from another country? And we have down here Miss Siti Norbaya. Could you explain why you chose attitude?
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
I choose attitude because I think it's the most important thing to somebody to shape their behaviors. No, not really. Actually, I think mindset and values shape your behaviors, but they are shown by your attitude. So that is why I think attitude is the most important to me. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your response. It's interesting to hear all these. Sorry, I'm actually quite a novice with all this technology, as you can see. So my feeling for today is nervous. And I'm, as I say, and I've just switched to a computer I haven't used before. So forgive me with these delays at the moment. Thank you very much for your responses to question one. And perhaps we'll move now on to the second of the questions. So what is the most important element that determines personality? Habits or mindset? So, sorry. So this is really what makes your friends the people that they are. What makes you the person that you are? Is it your habits? Is it your attitude? Or is it your mindset? Over to you. And again, you can respond in the same way. I see most of you are choosing the chat bot, which is really challenging me. Okay. So we're getting a lot of answers in here, a lot of mindset again. And perhaps let's just refer to one of our participants. And I'm thinking, tell me about one of your friends. What is it, their mindset, their attitudes? What is it that makes your best friend your best friend? And let's go to Miss Mariam from Brunei Darussalam. Oh, they've not got, I'm not on that.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for choosing me. Okay, why I'm choosing my friend? Because um of her attitude. He showed me the good example. Okay, and all the good things. All right, especially the conduct, okay, behavior again, and the personality. That's why I choose my friend.
Thank you, Mariam. That's very, very good. I mean, that's exactly how I feel about my friends. You like to have people that inspire you, who lead you around along the right path. So the second question. Now let's move to question number 3. Is this you? No. The question 3. Do you teach values in your classroom? So that's a yes or no to begin with. And then how do you teach them? Overwhelmingly, yes. Let's see some answers to how. How do you do it? Okay, and I'd like to go to Kinley. Would you like to answer why, or how you teach values in the classroom? How do you do it? Many of you are answering yes, but not giving me a why or how. Yeah. So thank you, Kunstiti. You're saying through actions and role models. Farizam, you're saying about asking students to clean the classroom.
Hello, I teach myself. Yes, I teach because expresses what expresses to teaching is express to knowledge available.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Kinley. And what about the second question? You're answering mindset as well, all of you. Thank you. Mr. Farizam, would you like to talk a little bit more about your tactics? Brunei.
Hello, Libby. Good morning to you all. Okay, so usually when we try to teach values in our student. We like to go to basic stuff, basic element. For example, like cleaning the classroom, be a be well disciplined student, try to be honest in the classroom, be punctual, and basically this is try to create a good mindset to the student. So we are also the role model to the student, and we try to encourage the student to have all these good core values in them. Okay, I think that's all. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Mr. Farizam. Nice to hear from you. And interesting that you start small. You start with the small things and build up. That's another interesting idea. Let me now pass over to my colleague Abby again, who will present you the final question.
Yes, hello. That was very exciting. Thank you, Libby. I enjoyed the responses. If you could give yourselves a minute to give yourselves a warm round of applause. You did well, especially to those who seriously consider the questions. There are 3 or 4 last points in the chat box that are really interesting. I think it's Sito Nurbaya that said, no, we don't teach mindset. This is this is really a good exercise that we could hear from you and more comments there. How is actually mindset taught? And this gives us a clear picture of how you as teachers deal on these issues in the classroom. Probably let me wrap up with this slide on the screen, which actually tells us that there might be no correct, no wrong answers. In fact, all the 5 elements are interconnected. You can also argue with me on this, but we are also not sure which comes first. The items you see on the screen are not mine, are not Libby's. And if we go and look online for materials, even some academic researches, there's no agreement on which comes first. You might think these are silly questions. Why do we even have to ask which comes first, value or mindset? But this is a way of allowing what lies inside our thinking in our hearts as a teacher. How do we really look at this set of things? Values are foundational beliefs according to the common literature we found. Mindset is the established set of attitudes or beliefs. Habits are the behaviors that we repeatedly perform. Actions are the behaviors we choose to engage in. And attitude is our overall outlook or disposition towards life. Now, asking which one comes first, we don't know. And I really appreciate how diverse the perspectives of the teachers are. And this activity hopefully has brought out what is needed in the session that comes next. We keep saying that day 2 is an important part of our 3-day workshop because today we will understand the dynamics of all these things and how are these applied in teaching and learning. So the session that comes next is to be presented no other than board of the CMU Regional Center for Efficiency, Economy, Philosophy for Sustainability, that's SEPS. His senior advisor in the Sustainable Development and Sufficiency Economy Studies Center at the National Institute of Development Administration in Thailand. We call it NIDA. She held an important position as executive director of this center from 2019 to 2021. She was also director of Sufficiency School Center, Foundation of Virtuous Youth. In Thailand, she has played many important roles, many national committees, such as Sufficiency Economy Movement in Education Sector, Ministry of Education Thailand. She was also chair of the Sufficiency Economy Movement in Education Sector Working Group, also under the Ministry of Education. And in a bigger context, in the National Economic and Social Development Board, she was secretary and member of the Sufficiency Economy Philosophy Subcommittee. Look at her research interest: Buddhist economics, sufficiency economy, sustainable development, smallholder farming, and community development. I think they're not easy fields that you can be interested in when you do research. She did her PhD in economics at Simon Fraser University in Canada, and her master's degree in economics, as well as her bachelor's degree in socioeconomic planning, are both from the University of Tsukuba in Japan. It is my great honor to present our presenter, our speaker and resource person in today's session, Dr. Priyanut Dharmapia. Ajan Priyanut ka, the time is yours.
Hello, everyone. Hi. Thank you so much, Abigail, for the very nice introduction. And hi, everyone. I have been, get to the room quite a while and listen for what you have discussed. It's very interesting. And I think it's just, follow back to back very nicely because Libby has mentioned and, discussed with all of us the importance of mindset, values, attitude, and everything. So Abigail gave me about 45 minutes, 1 hour. So I would like to share with you all my experiences, with Thai teachers, how to cultivate mindset. Okay. There are many pedagogies, in learning and teachings that we can apply at school. And I would like to take this opportunity to share with our friends, from Simeo countries. Okay, can I share my screen or are you going to share for me, Abigail?
Dr. Priano, we are going to share it for you here. We're already preparing. We prepared already
Okay,
your
okay.
slide.
So can you put my slide on, please?
Oh,
Thank
yes,
you.
definitely.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay.
You're welcome.
I will just focus, you see, we talk about many important words in Libby session, like values, mindset, attitude, behavior. In Thailand, the way we pursue these cultivate the mindset, because we believe that if students have the right mindset, it will have an impact, or it will provide directions for them to guide, their behavior, and then, form the attitudes at the end. So it's quite, theoretically, research and we pursue with this. So the most important thing that we have to start first with to cultivate the mindset, and how we do that. Okay. So in Thailand, I think everyone, in this class, known already that we apply SEP, Sufficiency Economic Philosophy, as a framework of our education. And the goal, it has been set and written in the educational law and our educational visions that Thai students will live their lives based on sufficiency mindset. So that is in our legal framework. But in practices, we cannot just tell, teachers or students, okay, behave sufficiently. That's not going to happen. So it has to have, we call it a movement, or, some administrative procedures and many workshops, many procedures that we have do in Thailand. That's what we call a SEP-based educational movement in Thailand. Next slide, please. Okay, I forgot I have to ask you. Okay, now, I'm not quite sure in the classroom, maybe you have heard about sufficiency economy philosophy, and can you open the whole contents of the slide, please? Sorry, I made it for animation, but thank you so much. Okay, the word sufficiency economy is coined by the last King Bhumibol, the late His Majesty. But when we talk about sufficiency economy, I think we have various words that can explain sufficiency economy. And in Thai, we do that a lot because, when we try to cultivate the mindset and have like teachings, learnings, activities, if we just use the word sufficiency economy only, it gets so boring. So, in Thailand, we use so many words to explain sufficiency economy. For example, just enough. But when you hear the word just enough, do you think it's less or it's much? It's little few or it's more? You see, some people, when they hear just enough, it's just they have to constrain themselves. Oh, just enough. If you have, some like, budget constraint or something, but when you go to, for example, if you go have buffet, right? In Thailand, we have, I know in your countries, you have the buffet lunch, we pay like 4.99 baht to have, lunch, and we just eat, how much ever that we can. And some point we think, well, this is just enough. But at buffet lunch, just enough. Sometimes maybe it's a bit too much, right? Especially for lunch, maybe get like sleepy in the afternoon. But just enough is just enough. Enough is more about, the quantity, right? Sometimes, we use the word just right. Just right is more about quality, well, this is just right. The taste of the food is just right. Wow, the smell of the food just right. I'm talking about this because I know it's before lunch, so we should talk about food. Make everyone gets hungry. And another word that's very important is balancing. Sufficiency economy in Thailand always, be alternately used with the word balancing. Balancing work and life, balancing health and money, for example, balancing between what and what. So that's we try to juggling, our way of life by balancing everything. And for sufficiency economy, what are the things that we have to balancing, about? That's we'll discuss later, but not too much, not too less. It's about just enough, just right. And when we apply this in our national development strategy, we call it, an alternative development agenda. For example, many countries talk about we have to achieve growth, like 5-6% growth. But sufficiency economy is an alternative development strategy. It's not just pursuing growth only. It's not just pursuing money only. There are many things behind the philosophy that provide to development strategy. That I will not discuss much, but it's just letting you know that this is how We understand sufficiency economy in Thailand, but how much is sufficiency? Enough for whom? And why we are applying sufficiency economy in Thailand for cultivate mindset? Next slide, please. So that's the issue that we are going to discuss about. Everyone knows about 17 Sustainable Development Goals of the UN. Thailand, we just, you know, said that we stated that Thailand is applying SEP to achieve SDGs, and we are on the path. I'm not talking about that much because we are going to focus on teachings and learning. Well, I have Abigail and Dr. Duriya told me that a lot of you have understand and know the sufficiency principles already, but I would like to refresh again. Well, first of all, what are the components of sufficiency economy? There are principles that we call sufficiency principles, which are moderation, reasonableness, and prudence. We will talk about that later. Just get the framework first. What are the goals when we apply SEP or sufficiency economy philosophy in our daily lives, in development, in community development, in national development, in business strategy? We would like to progress, but think about ourselves. We would like to progress our life with what? We should have a directions of progressing in life, right? Someone may say, oh, I would like to earn more income. I would like to have a healthy life. I would have to have, you know, more friends or more love, whatsoever. Based on SEP, the goal, if we apply SEP in our life, is to progress with balance. Balance is that not extreme in one direction. Balance between work and life, balance between family and friends, balance between money and health, for example, and many dimensions that we should balancing within our lives, not too extreme, you know, on one direction only. But more importantly is the next word, resilience. Remember, well, not remember, I should not say that. Okay. SEP has been bestowed by His Majesty King Bhumibol because of the economic crisis in 1997. And Thailand just fall hard, and we come back, not strong yet, but we are moving on a balanced, you know, development path. But we have another one that we have to be keep in mind all the time, is that we have to be resilient. We have to be prudent. We have to know that all things are changing all the time. We don't know 3 years, or no more, 4, 5 years ago, we don't even know that we're going to have COVID-19, right? And now, you know, looking back, who would imagine, you know, the Ukraine war, or which, you know, have impact so much on the gasoline price, and, you know, raise the cost of living in Thailand a lot. You know, gasoline policy is quite, you know, sensitive to everyone right now in Thailand, because we import, maybe not Brunei, but we import a lot of you know, fuel from outside, from abroad. So to be resilient is that whenever we have changes, we should be ready to cope with that. We should prepare ourselves to cope with that, to cope with those changes. That's the word resilience. Not to fall so hard, or even we fall, we should be able to stand back very fast and strongly. That's resilience. In our daily lives, in our lives, it's something like that, right? We would like to progress, but we would like to balance between, you know, as I say, you know, money and health and family and friends and everything. And then we have to be resilient. The easy example is having saving, right? I don't know whether you come from a private, you know, schools or a public school, but for example, you know, in Thailand with COVID-19, a lot of people have been laid off from their job, you know, from their work. If they didn't have, you know, savings, for about 3 to 6 months of their, spending, their life's expense, then they will be in trouble because to search, a new job, within a short term period, that was very difficult. So resilience is something like that. Prepare for the you know, uh, unknown changes or something that we can expect. So we prepare ourselves. Saving is one type of preparing ourselves for those changes and make ourselves be resilient. That's the goal. You can look back to your life. Am I setting my life goals like this? I would like to progress with balance and resilience. Maybe this is something that you can think about. But then to be able to apply the SEP principles, to be able to achieve the SEP-based goals, we need quality foundations, which is human development, which means that we need to have knowledge and virtues at the same time. Think about your students if they have only knowledge, but they don't have virtues, they don't have values, or they have not the right values, but the wrong values. What would happen? What would be the future of that students? So knowledge has to come with virtues all the time. But with only virtues without knowledge, maybe students cannot, solve the problems in their lives. They cannot, progress as they wish. So what we call quality foundations based on SEP is the having knowledge and virtue. So this is just to refresh the components of SEP. Next slide, please. And that I put this, I think you have seen this several times, Now, we get into a little bit more details, knowledge and virtues, decisions has to be made based on knowledge. We have to know what we are going to do first. And I will do exercise, with all of you at the moment, but, put these two concepts first. Moderation is like, you balancing between what and what. Our lives has always limit. I think teachers, you have salary, right? So you know your income every month. So our expense should be moderately comparing with our income, right? Our adventure should be moderately balancing with our health, not our health or our capacity. For example, moderation is that balancing between two things. One thing that are our limitations, and one thing is that what we would like to achieve. Reasonableness is something that we think about why we do this and what we would like to achieve by doing this. For example, when you are going to get into the class and you would like to, start the class, of course, I think it's the same in Thailand, is that you have a lesson plan, right? In your lesson plan in Thailand also, the first thing that we said is that, what are the learning objectives? That's the reason why we are teaching this, why we are talking about this knowledge, why we are using this pedagogy. That's the reason that we are doing things. So SEP mindset is really to have students and everyone, applying this, a reasonable person, not argue with just feelings or angers or bias, but have reasons when we discuss or make decisions. So those two, moderation and reasonableness, is what we use in making decisions. But not only that, we talk about resilience, right? So when we are going to prepare anything, you plan to take students, go out for some sightseeing. Maybe you have to think about the weather, you have to think maybe the traffic and everything. You have to be prudent so that, our sightseeing, or excursion will be based on prudence. So that's the three principles: balancing between what we have and what we would like to achieve, be reasonable when we are making any decisions or attempting to do anything, and being prudent when we are planning to do something, prepare for the changes, prepare for things that, and that we can expect that maybe have changes, right? And lastly, I talk about progress with balance. In by SEP, based on SEP. We try to balance between economy, social, environment, and culture. Economy is something that, next slide, please, I think. Okay, next slide, please. Okay. Now I will get into your interactive learning with me. For example, if we would like to, okay, I would like everyone to imagine if you're going to buy a new notebook. We like to buy a new notebook, right? Okay. Well, first of all, what I would like to get knowledge first. What kind of knowledge should we acquire before we go and spend our maybe $1,000? $1,000, maybe it's cheaper than that. But wow, before we decide that, okay, we are going to buy, Acer or Dell or, Apple or what kind of ever, we should have knowledge first, right? Okay. What kind of knowledge should we have? I would like you to focus on this little orange box here. Apply SEP, which is 2 conditions, 3 principles, and 4 balancing goal. In planning to buy a new notebook, we start from 2 first. We start from 2 first, 2 conditions, right? 2 quality conditions. What kind of knowledge? Okay. Should I, Abigail, I'm not quite sure. Should we let anyone, turn on their microphone, or they just type in the chat box? I don't know whether which format that you are using with interactive learning. Maybe you can type in the chat box.
Yes,
Okay.
both ka. Ajan can
Okay,
also
both.
call them.
Yes. Okay. What should we know before we go out to the mall and buy the new notebook? Okay. Well, maybe I'll start with, maybe we should know why we are going to use, for what we are going to use this notebook for, right? Maybe Abigail, you can type for me, or maybe for what? Okay. The purpose, right? For what? The purpose of buying this new notebook. Okay. Right. I start with some example. The purpose, what kind of notebook we need. Yes, what kind of notebook we need. But what kind of notebook we need? Then we need to know, are we going to use to play games, or are we going to use to teach in class, or we are going to use to yes, we should check the price, right? You should check the price because the range of price in Thailand, I think we can buy from like, I use US dollars so that we can communicate with each other, maybe from about $200, very cheap one, to about $1,000. I think, yeah, 1,000 may be the maximum of the notebook that yes, we need to know the purpose. Okay, that's a knowledge of ourselves, right? The price, and we should go to review to read the reviews of each notebook too, right? The customer satisfactions of each each brand or each versions, right? Okay, we need to know all of those, right? And virtues maybe is something that difficult to think about, but for example, are we going to buy this notebook by cash or using credit? Now we have to think. That's about virtues too, right? If you're going to be by cash, maybe we have to be patient enough, perseverance, to start saving money to buy it. Or are we going to borrow someone else or ask someone to buy for us? Well, many things that we can think about virtues, when we are going to buy notebook. But at least, we have to be patient in acquiring knowledge, right? Perseverance in terms of, acquiring knowledge, because to buy one notebook, I don't think we can just, go into, Google and search for knowledge, information, and one day we just found the answer. I think, like myself, I spent about a week, to get all the information before I decided to buy this notebook that I'm using right now. That needs patience, that needs perseverance, right? Okay, know the price. I'm reading our friend Penjiran Haji, right? Thank you. Purpose, yes. The importance, yes. So if it's for work, maybe we are willing to pay a little bit more, right? Because we are going to use it to for work, and that we can earn income from working too, right? Okay, so I and one thing, when we are really going to buy the notebook, uh, I say we have to be mindful, to choose the really right one, to read, the insurance, coming with a notebook and everything. So that requires a lot of, patience, perseverance, mindfulness, right? Well, you see, that's two qualities, foundations that we have in ourselves, knowledge and virtues, before we make any decisions. But I would like to put one remarks here. Now we have knowledge. Now we know we have virtues, we have perseverance. But if we ask our students, for example, grade 6, I think in Thailand, grade 4, they start using, iPad already, notebook, right? Grade 4, grade 5, grade 6. If we ask students themselves to make a decision to buy a notebook, will those students try to acquire knowledge as much as we do? Or they just search, a little bit, 1, 2, 3 things, price, get some information from their friends and then go and buy it. You see, the depth and the width of knowledge are things that different based on experiences, based on many factors. So those are the things that I think, we can create a learning activities to share and learn, to acquire as many, knowledge, so that we have thorough knowledge before we make decision to buy a notebook. That I think we can create in a classroom, right? And virtues, sometimes it has to be learning by doing, get some class, to get students to be patient, of, acquiring knowledge, get them some homework, coming back, present next week, those are things that we can create learning activities in class based on this, right? Okay, next, going to the principles. Moderation is that, within capacities, avoiding extremes. What will be the limitations if you are going to buy notebooks for each of you? I would say first is the budget, right? Is there anything else that you think that limitations, of ourselves when we're going to buy notebook? I said the budget. Maybe that's easy. Conditions of what? Hami, can you explain a little bit more? Conditions of what? You mean conditions of using in schools of the notebook? Okay. I would like to come back to limits of ourselves, not the notebook yet, because we're going to choose the notebook that is just right for our conditions, right? I say the budget, I think this is maybe is everyone conditions, budget, right? How about our capacity? Like I'm hesitate to buy Apple notebook because I use this a normal notebook for a long time. I don't want to learn more how to use app. Although people say oh, Apple is so good and everything. Yes, we use iPad, but when it goes to Apple notebook, I think it's quite a little bit different, right? So maybe that's my limitation. So I tend to buy the same, like I use about Acer or whatever, the same, right? The purpose, yes, that's the conditions of ourselves. Moderation is something that we recognize our conditions, our limitations, and we live within our means, our limits. You said, well, Dr. Priyanut, hey, can I have growth mindset? I do more. Yes, you can do. But then you plan for the future, for tomorrow. But today, what are our limitations? We would like to have, say, $1,000 notebook. But look at our income, look at our saving. Maybe we can buy only $500, notebook. That's our limitations for today. But if we really want, $1,000 notebook, or we'd like to go for, Apple, right? Notebook, then maybe we start saving. Let's go to the virtues. Let's go to planning. But then we have to sacrifice that we are going not to have a new notebook today. That's moderation, living within our means. But to be able to live within our means, we have to know ourselves first. We know our budget, we know our capacity, we know our preference, our preference, right? Our purpose, as you mentioned. And all of this decision has to be based on reasons, reasonable. Why? Why we choose between buying $500 US dollars notebook today? Because we save enough. It serves my purpose. I can use to teach. It's okay with me to use this. Why we are not buying this $500 US $500 today, but we are going to save a little bit more and buy 1,000 US dollars. We have reasons. We think within ourselves. Sometimes we know that the notebook that we want today use $1,000. Maybe it will get into discount for about $800, at the end of the year. So patient, wait, so that we can get a better, more, capacities notebook that we can use for many things. And we have more time to save. See, every decision has to be by reasons, not by just that. I want that, then I'll go to buy it. That's not SEP mindset. Okay. I think now we understand moderation and reasonableness. Then going to prudence. Prudence is risk management, preparing for future changes. Before we buy any notebook, before you let them to charge your credit card, did you read the insurance policy? Did you check all the, the conditions of the notebook before you take it out of the store? Or, you make sure that you get enough knowledge to make decisions. That's prudence. You see, when we bought the notebook, took it home. Did you keep the receipt? You take pictures of that, keep it, because just in case something happened, you still have receipt with you, maybe within 6 months or something like that. Those are prudence actions to make sure that you won't get into any problems in the future with this notebook. And one more important thing, did you search the way to use the notebook in the most, efficient way? Otherwise, a lot of people have notebook and they use just, for some small things, not used up to their capacity. So those learnings coming with the prudence action. Those 2 conditions and 3 principles that I'm discussing, these are the framework that we can use when we make a decision. But when we are going to move forward to make our decision based on sufficiency economy philosophy to achieve sustainability or sustainable development goals, then we have to think about the outcome of our actions, which are 4 dimensions of balancing progress with balance in 4 dimensions and resilience. Next slide, please. Okay. Before we talk about 2 conditions, knowledge and virtues, we talk about 3 principles. Those are sufficiency principles. But if we would like to move forward I use the word S for S. S for S. S, the first S is sufficiency. 4 is for, F-O-R, for. Another S is sustainability. Remember I mentioned that Thailand applying SEP for achieving SDGs. So when we are going to aim that our actions based on SEP have to be on a sustainable path, we have to think about the outcome that we expect from our action. And those dimensions balancing among materials, social, environment, and culture. First, material or economy. Is this action of buying notebook make us broke? We use up all our saving. But then the next day, if you have, something happen, get to see the doctors, we don't have any saving anymore. Well, that's not balancing in terms of economy. You have to be more prudent in terms of materials, social, society, caring and sharing. Maybe it's not me to buy a notebook, but our friends. So we ask information, we share information, we share our experiences. So in the process of buying a notebook, we have to be careful to embrace the social capital, the friendships, how we interact with others. For example, in schools, caring, sharing, non-harming, those should be the social capital that we created among, the activities, the learning activities. And for us, saying buying notebook, should not create any problems with our families or our friends or something like that. Well, you can imagine any actions that can lead to that. Environment. What are we going to do with the used computers, the old one? Giving to others? Throw into the garbage? Well, with sufficiency economy philosophy, you have to think about environment all the times to create a sustainable development. So think about how to do with the used notebook. Or even when we buy a new notebook, should we care about, oh, this is made from 80% recycled materials, something like that? See, step mindset. If we would like to bring it to sustainability, we think about this environmental impact of our actions too. The last one, the cultural things. Well, this may not be relevant to buy notebook yet, but well, in this case, maybe it's not, but in many cases, in many activities, we can integrate the cultural, the wisdom, the local wisdom, or the national cultural capital into learning activities. I will show you later the example. Next slide, please. That we finish with how to apply SEP into our daily activities, right? Like buying notebook. I think everyone can align yourself, or your experiences, with this, right? I would like to share. I have about 20 minutes. I would like to share the pedagogy that we use a lot in Thailand to cultivate the mindset, the SEP mindset. Actually, this can be done with, anything, not just the SEP mindset, but we use this a lot in integrating SEP in learning activities. We call it QPA. Q stands for questions. P stands for plan. A, actions. R, reflections. This fits well with learning activities in classroom or even outside classroom. I will go to that one by one. Questions is that, you see, to cultivate the mindset, students or learners have to think by themselves. By thinking, they learn within themselves what is right, what is wrong, what is appropriate, what is not. And when they share with others, then they learn more widening their think, or understand more what is appropriate, what is right, what is wrong. So questioning makes students think. For example, in class, you can ask many questions. I will give you a set of questions that we use a lot in Thailand. But questioning is very important. Like I asked you, why do you want to buy this new notebook? What are you going to use it for? How much money you have? Did you read the insurance yet? Did you read the review yet? What do you think about, the reviews, of that notebook? When we ask questions, students think, learner think, and try to reflect that in their mind. So the first and foremost step to cultivate the mindset is starting with questions. But we have a set of framework. We not just go and ask what kind ever. Are you happy today? Well, it's okay, but maybe we have a simple framework to ask questions to cultivate a step mindset. I will talk about that. When questions, for example, you have a lesson plan, you would like to teach about, for example, teaching about the weather, the changing, the climate change, for example, you would like to, if you have a lesson plan about climate change, you go into class, you don't just say, okay, I'm going to teach climate change today, let's learn. I don't think everyone do that, right? We start questions. Why we see a lot of forest fire right now? Why the weather is so hot right now? Get students think. So they form their mindset. They get alert. They get inspiring. They get acquiring mind, starting with questions. Then your lesson plan may be something about, have students to list up, what are the actions that we can do to deal with the climate change that we call climate actions, right? If the lesson plan is something like that, then you let the students plan. Okay, now how can we do some small things that can contribute to climate actions? Then let them plan by themselves. Planning is very important because planning follows with actions. When they act, they will go back to what they planned, that, oh, they have not had enough knowledge, they have not thought about this, their plan is not suitable with the conditions of the school, then they can reflect back. That goes to reflections. So plan, actions, and reflections comes together to make students learn from their not making plans thoroughly or completely. And the next round, they can do it better. You see, in my view, schools, our school, is the place that students can learn from mistakes so that they don't make those mistakes when they go out of school and live their real life in society. I rephrase it again, but maybe this is my view of school, but the beauty of schooling, of school, is that students can learn mistakes with teachers as their coach, with friends surrounding and learn together, share experiences, so that they won't make those mistakes when they get out of school and live their lives as an adult in society. So planning, let students plan by themselves. They do actions based on their plan. We can give advice. We can be facilitators. We can be coach. But let students be actors in those lesson plans of your climate, actions lesson plan. And at the end of the class, let them reflect what they have learned from those actions. If they can go back, what if they would like to make change in those plans? The next round, it will get better and better and better and better. That's how we cultivate the mindset and the behaviors Next slide, please. Because I'm not, conducting the whole coursework, so I have only 1 hour. So I'll go very briefly on this. These are the questions that we use a lot, well, in Thai. Of course, we use in Thai, right? And these are the questions that we extract from the framework of SEP, two conditions, three principles, and four dimensions balancing goals. You can use this all the time, and it's so easy to ask. Okay, come back to our climate actions lesson plan. We talk about, the situations right now. I think in many of our countries, we share the same experiences. Forest fires, it's so hot, the heat wave, the weather is not as we can predict as before. So we can talk about that. Well, questionings, let students talk about that. And then, well, can we do anything with climate actions? We can ask something like, what are we attempting to do? What is the issue that we are going to do? Then, of course, the answer, students may answer, okay, we are going to plan, our climate actions, maybe 2 actions, in our daily lives. That's what we are going to attempt to do, right? That is, I believe, in your learning objectives and in your learning activities, but that's our lesson plan. What we really do in class is we guide the actions by questionings. Why are we doing this? Students may say, okay, I will try to save water. I will recycle the bottles. They may have all the list. Please not letting students just giving the list of their actions. We are talking about climate action. Always ask them why. When we ask why, students will think about the reasons, the causes why they are going to do this, and ask them what would be the impact of that action. Make students think, from the beginning to the end of their actions. That's how we cultivate the mindset and change it into behaviors. Many research confirm that students from the age of 7 years old, can start thinking by using reasons. So not be shy to ask students about why, what are the impact of your actions. If you does, what would be the effects, of your actions? Let them think a lot. When something conform happening in their mind, it returns into actions naturally. Students won't do if you tell them, go recycle. Everyone, let's do recycle. No. But students will do that naturally if they know if they do recycle, what will happen with their lives here, now, and in the future. That's we make students think about sustainability without saying anything at all about sustainable development, but make students think about the impact. If they throw the plastic bag on the playground today, what will happen in the future? Let them think, let them talk, let them discuss with friends, let them search through Google. When they found that those plastic bags will stay there for 100 years, not diluting, they will not throw the plastic bag on the playground again. They will collect every plastic materials from the ground. We move the actions by the mindset. Okay. See, we can ask what will be the results if we do this. Ask this all the time. In Thailand, I can share with you that when I meet teachers, teachers at the very first when we start this movement, right? They said that students said they get so tired of getting questions all the time. They are lazy to think. Why teachers coming and ask questions again? But then after few years, teachers come to me and say that now students know that what teachers will come to them, what kind of questions students will have to prepare to answer. And they know that will have impact in their mind and it will have an effect on their behavior. Okay, go to the next question. Are we ready to do this? For example, okay, we are going to do recycle activities in school. Are we ready to do this? Do we have all the materials? Do we have a group? Do we know how to do this? Are we ready? Are we ready is something that we ask about moderation. You see, we are not going, okay, let's be moderate on this. No, are we ready to do this? Check ourselves, check our teams, check the conditions. Like we are going to buy the notebook, right? Do we have the budget? Do we have time? Do we have capacity? Do we have knowledge? Check our preparedness. This is about moderation mindset. Then, this is the most important thing that I would like teachers to try to do it. What are fundamental ethics to succeed the work that we should be aware of? You think how to create, morality in students? How to cultivate the values? Yes, we can do it by questionings. What are fundamental ethics to succeed the work? Most of the time, I ask students, to tell whatever, and then I get them to vote. I would suggest 3 at most. What are 3 fundamental ethics? So students get votes. Then they may get, patience. They may get discipline. They may get helping each other. Okay, they have 3, they vote. Put that on the board in the classroom to remind them that whatever they do, they have to stick with these fundamental ethics. These are the ethics that comes from students. They raise it up, they vote it by majority. They have these 3 ethics. Then they are the one who follows that. Students will like when teachers tell them, be patient, help each other. You agree with me, right? So we flip the coin. Let students raise the ideas of the fundamental ethics that they need to have to make these, climate actions work. We will have about 10 or 11, whatsoever. Get them vote. This is about democracy, right? So the majority votes for these 3 ethics. Put that on the board. Keep reminding that. At least you can conform students into these 3 ethics during do these activities, the climate actions. Please try it. It works in Thailand. I will insist that get 3 at most. Don't get too much. It will be too difficult for students to make it happen. Next one, do we have enough knowledge to do the work? Yes, every actions need knowledge. Okay. Then if we don't, how can we acquire needed knowledge? These part students are recently they are so capable to do this. Search Google, do Chat GPT, what kinds of ever, get the knowledge together, get a pool of knowledge, sharing them and put it on the blackboard or the chart. And okay, they have enough knowledge, grouping them, and now they have enough knowledge to do this. Okay, the next one is that the sequences to complete the work. The sequence is very important because what should be done first? This is how to teach students to learn about priority or urgency. Maybe the first thing is that go to collect all the plastic garbage, in the playground. Maybe that's the first thing that they should do, right? Not the first thing is that to go to the headmaster to ask for the budget to set a recycling bin. Maybe that's the third or the fourth one. These questions is very important for SEP development strategy because the sequencing, what should come first, is about moderation with reasonableness. Make students learn how to prioritize things in their life, know what are urgent, what can be wait for a little while, and this is how to, cultivate the values too. The last thing is that prudence, resilience. Let students think about the risk. that may occur, be the obstacles to getting our climate actions, successfully done. Then how to prevent it, how to prepare for change. So these are, you can have more than this. I just select the very most important questions that we use a lot in Thailand, to cultivate the mindset. And this is how we do it in Thailand that I would like to share with you. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, I think Abigail has given you the QR code and the worksheet for SEP. Whenever you do this questioning, you can ask students, to fill up this the worksheet by themselves first. But in Thailand, um, it, because maybe our culture is that students learn better when they learn with others. This is based on research in Thailand, how Thai students, how Thai, children can learn better. They learn better when they learn with others. It's different from Chinese students or Japanese students. I went to high school in Japan, so I know the difference a lot. Chinese or Japanese or maybe Korean, they learn better when they learn by themselves, independently. But in Thailand, Thai students learn better and faster when they learn with others. So this, I don't know about your schools, your countries, you have to find yourselves. But in Thailand, this worksheet, we always, get students, 2 or 3 of them, fill it up together. That fits with our, well, maybe national culture, whatsoever. So find a way to use this worksheet the best for your class. Next slide, please. Okay. I think I would like, next slide, please. Yes. For example, in Thailand, personal debt is just horrible right now in Thailand, especially after COVID-19. But we have started, we call FinLit, financial literacy in Thailand from long time ago. And this is based on SEP. You see, students from grade 2 and grade 3, they start to keep record of their own income and expenses. It seems like an easy task, but how can we integrate SEP into these learning activities? When they record, we have this worksheet. The record is not just putting income or expense of each day. There is one more column, saving. You see, prudence, resilience, saving, right? There are, you can see many columns here. Another columns. If you're interested in Abigail, I can find an example of this worksheet in Thai. Maybe Abigail can translate into English and, share with others. If you're interested in this, financial literacy based on SEP in Thailand. There are another column. For each expense, they have to check whether this is necessary or want. Necessary or want. If they buy, for example, candies, they have to be honest by themselves, necessarily, or just want to have candies. Get students check, learn, think, make decision by themselves, right? So with this, from grade 2, they learn how to analyze, necessity or want of their income. They start to do saving, right? And then they share with this, because they have to do this, recording every day. In Thailand, they send this to the homeroom class, which is in Thailand, is always, Friday afternoon homeroom class. They send it to teachers. Teachers, maybe read it. I have known, many inspiring stories from this, because not all Thai, students are rich, right? There are many poor students too in schools, in basic school in Thailand. When teachers, learn that students, what have me so little, to school, and they don't even have to, think money to buy, and teachers observe that, they never have, some students never have dessert, from their recording income expenses. So she start, having sharing experiences, in class and other, friends, sharing their deserve with their students. It can turns into many activities later. But the most important thing is that students learn about themselves first and take it seriously about spending money. So this can cultivate the analytical skills, the discipline, the diligence, and many things can apply, in this very simple learning activities in Thailand. Um, just to let you know, this is for grade 2 and grade 3. When they go into grade 4, they start to do records of incomes of their families. A lot of students never known how much money their parents make. So when they know, they start to think, when they would like to buy things, think more. This is to, cultivate the social skills, families, living with families, in along the learning activities. Okay, I don't have much time. Next slide, please. But as I promised, if you are interested in this, uh, sheet, the financial literacy sheet, I will give it to Abigail. Next slide, please. Okay, just would like to use my 5 minutes to emphasize on 4 outcomes. Whatever the lesson plans, learning activities that you plan to do in your class, please think about the outcomes of these 4 dimensions. Economy, I put it in a very simple way. Save money, frugality, and save. In terms of economy, save and save. In terms of social, is this, learning activities will lead to caring and sharing more in class, in schools. In terms of environment, is it going to lead to clean and green? Well, some schools attempt to do no waste. Maybe that's a little bit hard. So I just stop with clean and clean. And in the cultural, you may have local knowledge, local wisdom, local, materials that you can apply in class. That's the cultural side. So I just would like to give these 4 dimensions for you to keep in your mind when you plan your next lesson plans or learning activities, that if it can lead to balance in these 4 dimensions, then you are going to contribute to sustainable development. Okay, another slide, I can just go quickly to just show what we are having. Next slide, please. Materials, safe and safe, you see. Okay, next is social, learning in a group, learning together, caring and sharing, discipline. Next, okay, clean and clean environment. And the last one will be culture, I think. Yes, culture. Try to integrate your local cultural, wisdoms or materials, into your learning activities. That you will contribute to sustainable development too. Okay, my last slide is just summary. So I will stop with the summary slide. And Abigail, I think I have times for 1 or 2 questions.
Certainly, Ajan. John, I'm taking over a bit. Ajan, thank you so much. It was a very, I'm so absorbed with the presentation. And if all teachers listening to me think that the presentation was excellent, please share love, send heart, and all the confetti and your uh, virtual clapping hands. Ajan, truly, this is very enlightening. I've listened to you before, but this experience is another one. And for the teachers who have heard the presentation very clearly in detail, you are lucky. Not everyone gets this kind of presentation. In Thai, they call it ching ching kajan. I'm not joking. I'm not trying to make you feel good. Enjoy the presentation, ka.
Thank you so much. And I hope this is useful. And, as I mentioned, if the class needs more information, especially financial literacy, I can share with you. You can share with them later.
Yes,
Yes.
Ka.
Well, usually I would do interactive learning, as you know, but within just 45 minutes. So I'm just mostly lecture. So I'm glad that even just by lecturing only, it inspired all of you. Thank you so much.
Jan, probably may I say, participants, we can entertain two quick questions. Comments, other comments, feedback, please write in the chat box right now so we can document. And if there are other burning questions, please document them in the chat box. We will get back to you. But at this time, the first two questions from participants, please. Do we see a hand raised?
Abigail, if there is any, maybe I'll get later because I have another class too.
Okay, all right.
Sorry,
So,
because yes.
yes, at this
But
point,
I'm happy to get back to all of the questions, or even when you come up later, I'm so happy to share our experiences and knowledge in Thailand. Via Abigail, you are just great, facilitator and correspondent. Yes.
we will forward some questions again if we cannot answer the questions from our side. Thank you so much, Kat. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. I enjoy myself too, lecturing this class. Thank you, Abigail, for allowing me to share the experience with the class. Thank you so much. Okay, so see you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, Ajan.
Bye-bye.
Handing over the floor to John, please.
Oh yes, hello. Thank you, Dr. Reynot and Ms. Abigail. We're now heading to the next part of the session, which will be presented by our Walaylat team. They're going to share practical examples of SEP-rich classroom experiences. Yes, Adjourn Lee.
Can we start with video, please?
Did you know there is enough food in the world to feed everyone? The problem is, 1/3 of all food produced globally goes to waste. That's 931 million tonnes. At the same time, 1 in 9 people go hungry. Instead of feeding people, food waste feeds climate change. Because when food ends up in landfill, it produces methane, a toxic greenhouse gas which damages the environment. In fact, wasting food wastes everything, all of the precious resources it takes to produce it, like water, land, energy, and money. Did you know that throwing away 1 hamburger wastes the same amount of water as 15 bathtubs? Sadly, food is wasted at every stage of the supply chain. On farms and during the manufacturing process, when food is transported, at the supermarket, in restaurants, and from our homes. In Australia, over 7.6 million tonnes of food gets wasted every year. That's enough to fill an average footy stadium to the brim 10 times, which costs our economy $36.6 billion, with the majority coming from our homes. But there's good news. Food waste at home is mostly avoidable. OzHarvest did some research to find out the best way to tackle this problem, and it turns out to be nice and easy. Simply use it up. That's right. Look at what you already have that needs to be used before buying more. And then make sure you use it up so nothing goes to waste. It's just about getting into good habits, and you can start today. Save food, save money, save the planet.
Good morning, everyone. So, Google slide, please. Um, we would like to share some materials that you could use for your student um, doing presentation mode, please. Okay, this from now, another 40 minutes, we're going to show you 4 different models that you could do with your student. Uh, One of the model that we select is model 6, Food Hero. So we prepare several PowerPoint slides. Next slide, please. This thing about teaching the subject that you could integrate it in science and citizen. Next slide, please. And this is part of the SEP framework. So you can see that about the knowledge, the virtue, how that this model has been modified for moderation, reasonableness, and then the 4 pillar of 4 dimensions they will answer in terms of economy, environment, social, and culture. Next slide, please. After you using this kind of material at the end of your class, you can ask students to write reflective writing on how the student feel about moderation, reasonableness, and prudence, and how if they're doing this, how would their action affect on economy, environment, society, and culture. Next slide, please. Uh, the model 6 is about food hero. It will answer 13 SDG goals as following. Next slide, please. Uh, this food hero will, if the student completes these models, this is 4 dimension of SEP that student would be accomplished. I would like to share only environment. For example, the environment, they by have less food waste. They can help the whole world conserve precious resources. They're protecting biodiversity and habitats. They're minimizing pollution and waste, and they're promoting sustainable food system. Next slide, please. It's on Google Classroom, so you can go ahead and download and use it as you would like to. So at the end, hopefully student would reduce food waste and eat sustainably. Next slide, please. The material that being provided, you will have 6 different activity sheets that you can download and use with your student right away. By using the video clip I just show you, this is how you bring your student focusing on food waste. Okay, next slide, please. The lesson preparation, it require minimum lesson preparation. We provide all the online material for you already. If you would like to print some poster or some SDG goal and on and then places on the blackboard when you start the activity, that would be great. Next slide, please. The vocabs for non-native speakers. Sometimes we providing vocabs for the student to go and take a look at the meaning before they're using this material. Next slide, please. Uh, when you introducing these activities, the first thing is you could do learning activity 1 by asking about what do you have for your dinner. So we're going to show you. Dawn, could you place poll everywhere on the chat box on what do you have for dinner. So I would like to,
Definitely.
but I'm going to place you the poll everywhere on what do you have for dinner last night as example, but we will not have time to do poll everywhere today because the time is running out. But on the link here that Dawn going to post it, you can go ahead and take a look. This is how you're going to do with your student. When you use this module, you ask student, what did you have for dinner? Okay, it's a way to get your student totally dive into the idea of food waste. Okay, this is the Padlet that we created for you. Next slide, please. I'm going to skip this activity because I don't think we have time. Next slide, please. And then the second activity is that you ask your student to do pair, throw, and share activity. By they have your student pairing, okay, two-person, and then ask them to talk about the SDG goal, whatever goal that they select, they can select, and then ask them how the dinner that you have last night would affect what of the SDG goals. Okay, ask them to share with their partner. Next slide, please. And hopefully the student will come into conclusion by talking to their friends that okay, maybe we need to do more sustainable way of life in order to have a good world for the next 100 years. Next slide, please. And then the third activity that you could do after that is that where is my food come from? What's on my plate? Next slide, please. Here you can have your student talking about uh, who grow my food or where my food growing, how they pack. I mean, what packages that they pack and put your food in. Okay, if you go to some country, their food is being meticulously well packed, and then there are several plastic being used, right? And then you have to ask your student, how far did your food travel to get to me? Like sometimes I like hamburger. Sometimes the cow that producing the hamburger meat might come from Argentina, and I'm living in Thailand. Would that contribute to sustainable way? Of course not, because of the traveling costs or the CO2 that used for fossil fuel to burn. Maybe they ship on boat or would they ship on airplane? And then you ask, how much food am I wasting? Okay, this is when you have your student doing this activity. And then am I making healthy choices on the food that I'm having there every day? After they finish all these, and then you can ask them that they have to ask themselves, what can I do differently? Okay, they will be active learning and enjoy activities that student can do. Okay, next next slide, please. And then on the step 4 is self-assessment. We create Google. Next slide, please. Uh, we have 5 questions only and ask the students to self-assessing themselves. Next slide, please. Uh, John, can you post uh, on Google form that we created for them? So for the self-assessment, we ask the student to about their attitude toward food. Okay. Next slide, please. These are the learning activities that student can do. It's only 5 questions, and then at the end, if they answer 0, 0, 0, this that means they in the 0 to 5 points group. If they answer 1 or 2, and then they might get the point of 5 to 8. Uh, I already create Google form here, so and this is the link of the activity sheets. The teacher can go ahead and look. Okay, and then on the form here, if you would like to do it, it would be great if we have time. So we can ask the student to click. Only 5 questions. It would take 5 minutes to finish during the class, and then we will spend maybe half an hour discuss about the result that student do self-assessment. Next slide, please. And then we will ask students to think what they think about becoming a food hero. Okay. uh Next slide, please. There are steps of brainstorming. Okay, we can hand out flip charts. If you want to do digital thing, you could do Padlets instead of using actual paper on flip chart, and then ask students to write down what would they do, okay, to reduce food waste. in as their idea. Next slide, please. Uh, and then after we finish the third the fifth activity, and then the last activity is that you give them certificate that they are a food hero, and then they have to write down the things that they promise that they're going to do from now to minimize their own food waste. And hopefully we will print this out, and then you can post it on the school wall, I mean the classroom wall. And then at the end of semester you can ask them, maybe it's time for us to go back and revisit the food hero that everybody make three choices as a promise, and then ask them to evaluate themselves, if what they have done, what they have not done, or what they might plan to do next, okay, on their certificate. Okay, this is the first activity, the first module on food waste. Okay, I just rushing and run you through, but I also providing how you run these 6 activities with your students, and you can use the online tools like Poll Everywhere, okay, uh, and Padlet to help you with your students. Okay, and then the next module would be on reduce, reuse, and recycle. Dr. Tintani will Fa, can you please sharing the Google Slides on this? Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Malika. For the second module that we would like to present you today is module 13, Reduce, Reuse, Recycle. As you listen, Dr. Priya note in the previous session, you know that should be used QPAR model for the integrate SEP in learning activity. I would like to show you to use QPAR model for this module. In the next slide, this module can apply in science, geography, or citizenship course, and suitable for students 8 to 12 years old. For the next slide, we show the relationship between this module and SEP. And next slide. This module relate to SDG 11, 12, and 15. Next slide. 4 dimensions in SAFE for economy, for cost saving and resource recovery. For environment, for example, combating land and water pollution. For society, fostering public health and well-being. And for culture, we can preserving traditional and indigenous knowledge. For the next slide, we start from our learning outcome. For this module, learning outcome to understand the need for waste management, understand the vocabulary, reduce, reuse, and recycle, and difference between reduce, reuse, recycle, and document their own idea for using reuse, reduce, recycle with respect to the number of simple objects, and the own idea for recycling tin cans. For the next slide, we show the step of this module. We prepare material that is whiteboard, trash bin filled with trash, and newspaper. And the next slide, lesson preparation. First of all, we fill trash bin to overflowing with trash item and place it in the usual spot. And then set our book on recycling the environment in the reading center. And we should prepare the make newspaper for next year. For example, for this news, trash bin overflowing. And the next slide, for this activity, we want students to know the definition of reduce, reuse, and recycle, and they can classify it. And next slide, for the step 1, after they know the news story from the newspaper, ask the children what they can do today to keep the news story from coming true, and write the idea on the board. And after that, teacher should be introduce the concept of 3R: reduce, recycle, and reuse, and classify their idea. And next, this is the definition of reuse, reduce, and recycle. And next slide, I would like to divide students into small group, 2 to 4 students for each group. And then next, in each group, take a few items out of the garbage can and move to their own area. Have them jot down some point about how they might use 3R for each item on the reduce, reuse, and recycle, and let them write down on their worksheets. And after that, we go the next step. In the next slide. After that, we return to the large group and have the students share one of their idea. Write them down on the board. It's a step of brainstorming and show and share. And next, after that, in the step T, place the tin can in the central location on the class, and we make the tin can recycling. Have the children write the direction for recycling the can, and they can add diagram, artwork if they like on the tin can recycle worksheet. And next, this is important one. In this reflect, this is the word reflect part that Dr. Priyanut show us. There are many questions that we should ask. Question lead to SEP-based activity. For example, what are we attempt to do? Why are we to do this? Let students reflect. Okay, and then the last step is we should be evaluation and criteria. Student will develop and understand 3R. Thank you. This is the step that I would like to show you. It's just one example that in yesterday we know that many schools use 3R in your learning activity already. Today I would like to ask you show and share the activity in your school. Let's use the Padlet that I would like to show you. The first up on, I showed my example in Valaylak University that we use waste recycle bank as the one of 3R in our course, in our class, some part of our course in my university. The step is introduction of environmental issue, act plan, the garbage bank concept, and interactive discussion between students in class, and hand-on sourcing the recycling. And then we have student field trip in the local area and ask the guest speaker about garbage bag concept. And then we have project-based learning and less community engagement and outreach. In the last part of this course, we have evaluation and reflection and celebration and recognition. We have time about 3 minutes. If some participants from school let add some activity about 3R in your school, in the Padlet, in the message.
Could you please click on the Padlet link and then put your school name and then project that you have done with your students? Okay, that would be nice. Thank you. While some teacher might be typing on the Padlet thing, if you have any question or suggestion on the material that we showing to you, you can type down on the chat box to let us know how to improve the materials, or what would you like to be added, or would you think it would be helpful for you to teach SEPs in your school. That would be great. Thank you.
On the Padlet now, there are about 4 or 5 schools are typing. Uh, and yesterday, I remember that there are schools from Brunei, Darussalam. They use 3R in the learning activity in your school. Could you please share for us?
Oh, there you go. We see one information in our Padlet from, I think this is from Brunei, if I'm not mistaken. So it's recycling competition last year in SM Perdana Wazir Interhouse.
So we could request other participants to also put your comments, your heart to the works that our other teacher participants or other schools are doing. From there, that would be a great interaction on the Padlet itself.
By showing you this, you can use this kind of activity with your student. Your student can write down comments for their friends, giving hearts to their friend, or if they like the project, they could say some uplifting words toward their friend's project. So and then at the end, you can download as a PDF file, so you can post it on the classroom as a classwork for the student. I think it will be engaging activity for the student in the classroom. Dawn, we can revisit this at the end of the workshop here. Okay, now we're going to move to module 14, seasonal food wheel. Okay, I would like to make sure that I cover all the material here. This is the third module that we showing to you. Is about seasonal food wheel. Thank you all the teachers that's still being with us. Next slide, please. This activity, you can implement it in science, geography, and citizenship. Next slide, please. What SDG goal that this is the why seasonal food wheel is important. That means we should encourage students to eat or buy local grown food that available in that particular season. There are many benefits of doing that. At least it's not going to be canned, or it's not going to be in the glass jar or something like that. Okay, next slide, please. Seasonal food will definitely answer the main SDG goal on the 12th, responsible consumption and production. They answer many other more of the SDG goals, but the main goal is on the 12th. Next slide, please. Uh, Talking about the four dimension of SEP, if you thinking about why we have to buy things that grow locally at the time that they come out, right? In a way, we reduce environmental footprint, we enhance ecological health and biodiversity, we help combating climate change and building resilience. Okay, overall, it's environmental benefits. And for culture, okay, how would we buy local food at the time that they are available? We help to preserve and enrich cultural traditions. We promoting artistic expression and storytelling. We building resilience and adaptability. Overall, we help conserve our cultural enrichment in the society. Okay, next slide, please. Student will be able to interpret information about seed packaging and growing guides. A student will be able to synthesize information to determine what can be harvested in their region each season. Okay, so you could do 2 to 3 classes for these activities. Next slide, please. The material to prepare the seed packages and also the food wheels. Okay, next slide, please. Uh, you can go ahead and read. I'm going to go quickly because I would like to see the seasonal food wheel that you're going to do as active learning. Next slide, please. The vocabs that you should be teaching non-native speaker. The word like a part of the tree, like leaves, stem, root, seeds, flower, fruit, and goal, and climate and consumption. Okay, next slide, please. Introducing what available in what season in our local area. We call seasonal food wheels. The example is in the Google slide here. Okay, but it's more fun if we do it. The food and the fruit and vegetable it's from our local market. That would be even super, right? Next slide, please. The first step is about engaging. Okay, asking about asking your student to think about fruits and vegetables that growing each season. Let's say if I were a teacher in Myanmar, I would ask my student what will be available in January, or next month will be April, it will be really hot. Okay, what kind of fruits will be available during hot season? In Thailand right now, we in mango season, and next month we will have durian, right? So student can be thinking about, oh, okay, I could not have durian all year round. Okay, should I have a durian ice cream in the during the month that they don't really have durian? That means I have to put energy to freeze it and then have it later, right? So how would that relate to sustainable environment? Okay, we should have it fresh, have it in season, yeah, and enjoy every moment of every fruit that available in each season. Okay, and we will miss some fruit that is not in season, but we look forward to having ones when they are in season. Okay, next slide, please. Here is the seed packages. The reason that we showing seed packages, because some time of the year, some plant or flowers and could not grow in particular part of the world. So having them read seed packages, so they know that how long would it take for the these seeds to grow. And let's say you want to plant some mango, I don't know, some chilies. Okay, how long would it take for chili to for you to actually get the chili for your curry? Okay, for example. Next slide, please. I'm going to go this quickly. Next slide, please. So basically, you ask them what part of the plants that we actually growing. Is it the root? Is it the flower? Is it the fruit? Or is the seeds that we're using? Next slide, please. Sorting seed packages by plant parts. Okay, next slide, please. In a way, you introducing biology into, you can implement these in biology classes as well. Next slide, please. This is seed packaging reading. Okay, it providing what is the temperature of this plant to be. We create a map of Thailand. This is we creating to show you. So it's activity that you can ask. Let's say if I were teacher from Laos, I could ask my student to draw a Lao map and then putting which fruit growing from which part of Laos. Okay. Uh, for example, in southern part of Thailand, we have some particular pomelo. Okay, so if you want to have this pomelo, you have to come and visit Nakhon Si Thammarat, which is located in southern part of Thailand. For example, next slide, please. It's kind of fun activity, and then the time of year that as a calendar, you can ask your student, would this plant prefer cold climate or warm season or wet season or dry season? Next slide, please. Next slide, please. I don't see you advancing slide. Going quickly. Next slide, please. This is seasonal food wheel. For these, we providing you from January until December, and we ask which fruits and vegetable and food that grow in each month. Can you show the PowerPoint slide that we created for each country? Go to the PowerPoint now. Okay, if you click on the PowerPoint Google Slides here, and we put example here that the thing that might be growing. Next slide, please. All the teacher from 4 countries this morning, we providing Brunei for one slice. If the Brunei team can go and put the thing in on your slide, that would be great. We also having Laos slide here, and the next slide would be Malaysia, and next slide would be Myanmar. Okay, so you we creating the month and the color, and then all the 12 months on the calendar. Okay, so it's kind of fun activities that we will allow 3 minutes for the teacher from each country to finish the seasonal food meal. Okay, anybody has any questions, please let us know or type down the chat box.
Thank you so much, Dr. Malika, for all those presentations that you have shown to us. And yeah, we are requesting our participants to do not hesitate to ask questions related to the module, sample modules that were presented to you by our training team experts coming from Wallace University, in which you can use them as part of the integration on your lessons, not only in sciences, but you can also modify or make some creative way of integrating it to language, to mathematics, or other specialization or fields of specializations that you are teaching. With that, we are also advising our participants that those links, especially for the seasonal food wheel, the Padlets, are also available on our chat box. Please click them and try answering what are those food or fruits that are available within the season of that month. Each country has their own slide to fill in, so you can go ahead and contribute your idea as one country, because definitely you know your country better than us. And also for the Padlet, we're seeing here a lot of responses already coming from our participants. It's so nice to see that you are trying to engage with all your creativity. Um, we have already 6 responses, so good job in there. Now, if you do have questions for us or to our speakers related to the presentations that,
Don,
John,
Can
go ahead.
we show them in Google Classroom on the resource materials on the module 6, so they can see that the Google Slides is there and the learning activities that provided are theirs. So
Definitely, John.
they will know where to grab
Let
the
me go.
material. Thank you.
Okay, so all the materials are available in your Google Classroom. It's under a resource material. Go over with example module of food heroes. We have module 13, reduce, reuse, and recycle, and we have module 14, seasonal food wheel. That were the examples presented. So you can download them and see it on your end and save it on your devices. It's available for you, and if you do have like suggestions or questions, you can go ahead and let us know. If you cannot formulate your suggestions for now, maybe later, or maybe you can park your questions or put your comment on our Google Classroom, and we will get back to you. So all those materials are available there in our Google Classroom. And
Now
also,
let's see 3R Padlet.
okay, let's show the Padlet. This is our colorful Padlet. So welcome back to the Padlet. It's so amazing. Um, our participants are interacting. You should like put more hearts to the Padlet that you think is awesome. Again, you can also edit your Padlet, like the design, just like what I taught you last time. So you can also download these resources. This Padlet is available in our Google Classroom, and the link that we sent you is available for you to download it as a source of for for your lesson or for showing to your students what they did, and you can put that into the wall of your classroom or maybe into your science wall or subject wall, so that your students will be motivated to make more of these SEP integrated concept, showing how they actually use sustainability and sufficiency philosophy in their lessons. So I could see here a project-based learning in class, and there is replanting. It's amazing. A restoration of the landscaping and restoration of those vacant lots. Can I see the, let me show you also the Google for the food wheel. All right, there you go. Our participants are now putting in their seasonal food wheel. Maybe when we visit your country, we will be aware what are those fruits and food that are available during that time. And that would be great for us, so that, as tourists, we would know what are in season and which are in not. So that's a good thing to know those seasonal fruits. And by putting it into the food wheel, you are teaching not only us, but because this is an international orientation, so everyone will know what are those things. So we're waiting for answers coming from our participants in Laos. There are already answers in Malaysia. Good job there. How about Myanmar? Okay, so we're waiting for some answers coming from Myanmar and Laos. By the way, if you do need some assistance for us to put in, you can put your answers on our chat box, and we are so happy to assist you and put that into your Google slide. Again, this Google slide is available in the classroom, and also we posted the link for you to access it. You can do it also on your phone. So just open your phone, go to the browser, any browser that you think you're using, and then go to Google Slide or go to Google Classroom and then open there the link. Or when you are using Google Meet right now in your phone, open the in text or messages on your phone, and you will see also this link posted there. We are encouraging like what the other participants are doing, putting the pictures. That's amazing to make it more colorful and beautiful.
Oh, my cappuccino is super.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Malika and Dr. Jean, for giving us those information. So I hope that our participants get a lot of amazing ideas from our presenter on how to integrate these SEP concept into their lessons and some suggested activities that might be very helpful in your teaching learning process and to make your teaching more fun and engaging. So later on, while waiting for your feedback, maybe I could show some samples of the lesson plan that I personally use in my classroom teaching learning process. So for the meantime, I will share to you some sample. By the way, we would like also to announce that please, for those who did not submit yet or uploaded their lesson plan, please upload it so that we can check your lesson plan and see what are those key differences and similarities. And from there, we would learn from each other how your lesson plans and formatting of your lessons are being done. All right, so let me share to you my screen. Again, if you have questions, you can type it into our chat box. So in my end, I'm using, let me just open my lesson plan. Supposedly we are going to make a 15-hour lesson plan, and that is a targeted range of time. But because the lesson plan that I have in my end is actually a lesson plan that I use in teaching in my regular class, so I will just show you the lesson plan that I have in here. And from there, if you do have like suggestions or maybe some comments, you can go ahead and let me know. Improvement is the key, and since it's a developmental plan, so I hope that everyone can see my lesson plan. This is just a sample lesson plan that I use in one of the classes that I have in grade 9. So we call it Matayum Suksa 3, and I'm teaching the learning areas under science, and in our basic science, I'm teaching the core science, and core science in my program under English program is being taught 3 times a week. So I have 3 days to teach a science to my course, to my grade 9. And with this basic science, we have a combination of all the natural sciences. So biology, chemistry, physics, and earth science. So we have here for grade 9, one of the areas that I have shown to you is biology. And for the number of hours, it's 3 days per week. So it is actually 6 hours for 2 weeks. This is 1 hour lecture and 2 hours lab. Unit title, I have environment and natural resources. So one of the unit, it's under unit number 3 of our lesson. So these are the learning standards that we follow. So if I'm not mistaken, our teachers are aware of the learning standards that were set in your basic education curriculum. So each country has their own learning standards. And these are the indicators, or we call it expected learning outcomes. We do not say objectives anymore, but we say learning outcomes.
Don, can you make it bigger? I think
Oh,
participant
sorry.
might have a difficult time seeing it.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, sure, Ajarn. So I hope that everybody can see my screen right now in a way and better. All right. So yeah, these are the second part of our lesson plan is on the indicators or learning outcomes. So since this is a 2 weeks lesson plan or 1 unit lesson plan, so these are the things that I've included. We have the learning outcomes. I labeled it knowledge if that a learning outcome belongs to knowledge. Knowledge and skill, this is how we are taught when we were doing our lesson plan training in our school to label if it's knowledge, skill, or values or what do we call this? That's the last domain. We have cognitive psychomotor and the attitude domain. So we have here all the labeled KSV is knowledge, skills, and values. This is because of the application of the SEP philosophy to our teaching learning process. We start with the lesson plan. And we have the teaching procedure. So in our science, for the teaching procedure, we could follow the 4 A's or the 5 E. So it's up to us if which one we are comfortable to follow. So in my case, I'm comfortable following the 5 E. So I have here the first E, which is engage. This is like a motivation to our students, like setting up the lesson on what they're going to be expecting from the lesson. So I have here the activity that students are going to know, the illustration about the environment, about the natural resources, and what do they think is the essential way to maintain life. We have here the activities of the teacher for that engagement lesson, and showing some pictures about human-made environment. The next one we have here explore, which is the second B, which is the teachers could show the links to the students on the different websites that students could work and get some information, like say for example knowing what are those important environmental dates and celebrations that Thailand or the world is celebrating. So you can go ahead and put that. And you also have here a website to which students will learn. You can bring the students outside and explore them in the environment of your classroom or environment of your school, the different colors and textures of your soil, and let them identify what are those soil color that and what are the meaning of those soil colors available in your classroom. And I also provided some of those websites that might be helpful for them to know what are the meaning of those soil colors. And say, for example, they should know that United Nations organizations for the World Environment Day and Thai Environment Day is celebrated on 2 different dates. So you might also need to know for the difference of the date of the celebrations in your country and the whole world. And for the lesson proper, this is the third E, which is about explaining what are those things that you need to cover within the unit. So I have here included all those things that the teachers will be doing. And so as 1.0 number 3, students join their groups and explain the main points of the learned topics. So this is actually on the knowledge and skill. One thing that they will do is to summarize the main points of the environment and natural resources in mind maps. So Mind mapping is one of the best tool that you can use in your classroom. So the mind master that we are actually showing to you yesterday is the mind master app, which we will be showing to you later on, is also one of the tools that you can use for your students. I also put here where they could know something about the Royal Forest Department, the website on water transport and air, and some other things like the importance of natural resources and its relationship to environment. The last, I mean, the fourth E is on expansion. So you could make your students do some activities by performing a laboratory work. You could provide some outside expansion, like make them go and go to the community and make a map of the local natural resources available in their locality, so that students are also aware where are these local natural resources could be found in their environment, in their places. And then you can ask them to bring those a map and display it on the wall of your science corner, and make other students show or see it for themselves that, oh, this place has these kind of natural resources and we're just not aware. So that is a good idea of awareness and dissemination of information. And also, I provided some IT corner because our students are right at this moment are 21st skilled students. So we're gonna have to make sure that technologies are always integrated in our teaching learning process. So one of the things there is how to reserve wild animals by showing them the website in which they could visit and have some idea. Now, the last E is to evaluate. This is explaining the meaning of types, importance, and uses of environment and natural resources in the locality in mind maps. So I put there one objective. So for the evaluate section, I have here options. So number 2 is another option. I could ask the students to perform a role play, or they could make a leaflet, like they could make some brochures or leaflets that they could show to the people, like maybe a theatrical play to the community showing how they will protect the environment, or they could, save the environment or conserve our natural resources. And they could also identify the problems in the environment and propose solutions to the pollutions, or let's say air pollution maybe, or water pollution or land pollution. So you could ask those activities for the students to think outside the box. What would be the possible solutions? And maybe you could ask them to apply it and record in their science journal about their reflection on and their activity on what they are doing right now related to making baby steps on preventing and mitigating pollution. And they have, I have here the assessment. One assessment that I made here is definitely on the career. I make this a relationship to relate your recycling. So the teacher guides students to study how to invent. So they will make a recycled product and then design and make recycled products themselves. And maybe they could sell it to increase income, or to look for a profit based by, those garbages available in the school. They could use it as a material for them to make a product, and at the same time save the natural resources and the environment. So that is actually a sustainable utilization of natural resources, applying the SEP and sufficiency economy. So this is one of the idea that I have provided for my lesson plan. Thank you so much. If you do have questions for me, you can go ahead and give me some questions, or if you have like feedback, I'm very open and willing to hear it from you for the development of this lesson plan. By the way, this lesson plan sample is posted also on our resource material. So if you do have questions, let me know. And maybe I could also share some of other of my lesson plans, maybe in the areas of physics, because I'm teaching science, so I don't have other lesson plans that are not within my specialization. Thank you so much.
Celine, could you announce the name of the lounge if they are here? Because
Sure,
yeah,
Ajmar.
check their name on the list.
Okay, Ajmar. We would like to know the presence of our Lao participants. Miss Onitep, are you here? Please let us know so we could tick the boxes after your names or to check your attendance. Miss Ponger and Miss Addy, please let us know. From Myanmar participants, we have, yes. Uh, do you have any questions? Miss Nick Narbati? Oh, okay. So let me go ahead and check the other names from Myanmar. Um, Miss May, are you here so that we could check your attendance? Miss Win and Miss Wint Wawa from Myanmar. These participants were here yesterday. So we would like to know if you're here, please type in your name and also Miss Tin from Myanmar. Okay, please let us know. Oh,
Don, can we use
yes,
this
Miss
chance
July.
to give the heart to the teacher that attending this morning?
Yes. All right. To show the heart, you always have the emojis. Let me show you how to do your emoji. So for you to be able to create your emojis, you have here this emoji icon. All right, so I'm so happy, and we're on behalf of Wallach University and Sineo SEP, we are very much happy and honored for your presence today. And again, if you have questions for us or some updates or maybe some suggestions, we can review that tomorrow on our third day. And for now, or you can send your questions also in our line because we have our line. Yes, Abby, go ahead.
I didn't mean to.
Okay, okay. All right. No worries. All right. So we have already our line group, so you can send your questions or suggestions there so that we would be able to assist you further. And for today, we are very much happy and thank you so much for being with us today. We're looking forward to see you tomorrow and have a wonderful day. Thank you. Bye.